You've likely heard the term over the last week or two, PA boot over with a tight end post. This is a route combo that a lot of players are running, but in today's video, I'm going to show you guys an offense that can get this exact same route combo, better route spacing, and a better run game. Let's get into it. What is up, guys? Zam from the Zam YouTube channel. And as I just mentioned, PA boot over is a play that is definitely resurgent right now in Madden 23. We've seen a lot of players going back to it. We talked about the skinny post out of this particular play that does a really good job of beating man coverage. We talked about that even in more detail this week, just a little bit ago here on the channel. So make sure you guys go back and watch that video. But today we're going to talk about how to take one of the most popular route combinations out of the PA boot over in the bunch tight end and apply it into my offense, the Singleback bunch X Nasty. Now, one of the things that I think is best about the X Nasty is that it chases a lot of players out of the most popular meta defenses, whether we're talking about the $3.2, the nickel 3-3 Cub. We have answers for all the defensive metas in Madden 23. Now, one of the things that brings this formation into the limelight, and you're seeing a lot of the X Nasty as of late, is that it does have some of the best stock routes in the game. It does have some of the best blocking setups with a number of plays. I believe there's 7 of which the tight end is already blocking, which is helpful against dollar and slot blitzes, unlike other bunches where you can't block the tight end. And we have a lot of these deep skinny corners and skinny posts. So what we're going to do here today is we are going to kind of model a setup that I think even has better spacing against the most popular coverage metas. And what we're going to do is call this out of the play known as PA post curl shot. Now, at face value, this play is one of the best, absolute best cover 3 one play touchdowns in Madden. In fact, all you really need to do is just put the point man on a streak, carry out your play action fake, and load up on the post as it breaks over the top, or hit the snag route in the deep middle of the field. Whichever one you want to go to, it's going to be wide open. Typically the user is going to run with the skinny post. This is a great play, and my man Bobby V over on Gridiron Game Plans has this in his offense, which we basically have incorporated into my X Nasty offense on the website, so definitely go check it out. But let's go ahead and talk about how to run this play as a mimic of the PA boot over meta that I was talking about just a moment ago. So we're going to choose this play and we're going to put our bunch to the short side of the field. And again, one of the things that you guys need to understand about this is that this is one of those plays where you simply are not really going to be able to run most of the dollar meta against this. And I'm talking primarily the spinner meta. And the reason for that is that this formation is so good at establishing the run on dollar that most players just will opt not to call dollar against this. You can run the wide zone on this all day long, and most players will have a hell of a time stopping you. But most players that run the spinner meta, they basically want to take their outside corners and put them into thirds. And then typically they're going to man up or zone somebody into the left flat where the tight end is. Again, keeping in mind the tight end's uncovered, so I'm going to man him up right here. And most players will just kind of guard the deep middle of the field. Well, the outside receiver on the post is a problem in this structure. So this is a great counter meta to this defense that so many players like to run. Now, for those that don't know what PA boot over looks like, it essentially looks like this to the trip side, where you have the drag, the crosser, and the deep skinny post. Basically, it's an all flow flood from one side of the field to the other. Now, when I talk about a tight end post, what we're typically discussing is the fact that the tight end in bunch tight end is on the right side attached, and most players would put him on a post. What I like so much about this is that we have our split receiver out in the slot, which is just a couple extra steps over to that side, which creates better spacing for the offense. It makes it harder for the opponent to just go ahead and lurk the entire middle of the field. They have to take an extra step, and that's going to create better spacing for your underneath crosser. It's going to drive off zones in the right seam better. And you can obviously use this to manipulate the coverage to the deep outside right of the field, because this is considered a slot receiver. You can get better pull routes in the event that you wanted to, motion to that side, kind of create some zone floods of your own. Not having a tight end attached, you get the same post that a tight end would get, but you get a better corner. So this is going to give you guys a lot of flexibility as it pertains to this, but this would be your general setup for this. And I want you guys to just kind of pay attention to the fact that if the user does kind of hang out too low in this play, you're going to have that post right as it cuts across the middle. So what we're going to do is we're going to set up our slide protection here. I'm just going to block this, And again, X, if they aren't manning it up, is going to be wide open in the middle of the field. So this is a one-play score against the most meta dollar spinner setup that typically occurs. So a lot of players can't get super adjusty against this because, again, the dollar spinner is just so tough to run against the X Nasty, again, for the reasons I've explained. You're leaving a very important route open in the deep middle of the field on this play if you're going to do the zone thing that most players tend to do. If you want to do the man coverage thing that most players tend to do, we're going to be in a spot where I don't even really need to block this at all. I mean, I could just put Randy Moss on a corner route, do whatever I wanted here on this side of the field, and then just know that Randy Moss is going to be open on the cut. This is a problem for them. So they can't really just play straight up man in this, even with one step aheads and things like that. It just doesn't work for them. So most players are going to tend to drop more into like a zone base against this. And that is really where this is going to end up really giving people problems, is that really at face value, this play is notorious for being a zone flood. So as it pertains this, what we're going to do here is just kind of show you what this looks like. And really when you kind of snap the ball and watch how this plays, I mean, you see why people love the post route on this. You have the ability to kind of throw it into that weak sideline after you run everybody off vertically on that left side. Even though they're crossing the field, there's going to be a lot of attention by the user with all the crossing routes that are going to be so problematic for them. They can't really guard everything: a drag, a crosser, a tight end post. And even if I wanted to, I could start to incorporate the running back out of the backfield on this play, which creates a lot of problems as well. So, you know, again, as it pertains to this, let's just stay in spinner for a moment. And I'm just going to go ahead now and kind of put these guys into zones just because I want you to see how this behaves. But again, what you are going to see is when there is no deep zone help over the top, this post is fantastic, and you can go ahead and throw that over the top. Again, we talk about the bad pursuit angles of man-to-man coverage on this particular 17-yard cut post. A lot of times it's just very hard. And of course, you guys can also highball this if you want as well. But again, the thing that you're gonna most often see as it pertains to this meta when you're facing dollar is most players tend to put these players in zone, and then they start to get kind of crazy with who they're manning up. So again, most players, when you're dealing with a bunch formation, are typically going to like play one guy in the flat and kind of take the middle of the field, and then they're going to man up the point, and then they're going to man up this guy. Because again, more often than not, that outside receiver in bunch is on like an out route. He's on some sort of runoff route that's going to be guarded by the deep third. It's usually not this deep skinny post out of a bunch set, which is what the PA boot over makes them respect. And that's why dollar players do not like facing this. Again, if they do not man up this player on the outside, you basically just have to watch and key in on the two players at the high left. You're watching that safety. Does he run down at the point? Okay, well, you know that this route is going to be wide open on the cut. So again, that's kind of the foundation of this play, is that it allows you to really get into, you know, making them respect the deep middle of the field, which they really can't do out of spinner without giving up the middle. We'll kind of round this out by showing you if they really start to pay a ton of attention to the deep middle of the field as it pertains this. So if they're doing more of, you know, I would say something kind of resembling this, and then they're usering underneath, that's where this is going to be dead in the water, because we're going to end up being able to run crossers on them. We've got this slant post in the middle of the field. Again, all it comes down to is your ability to kind of, we're going to read Quinn as the user. It's just going to come down to your ability to kind of read the middle of the field. And you're going to see right here, again, if they don't have somebody manned up on that post, again, that post is going to be wide open too. So that's why PA boot over with the tight end post is meta right now. It's why a lot of players are going to that particular formation or playbooks that have this formation, so they can go to this against this hybrid spinner meta. And I wanted to show you that you guys can run this out of my favorite offense, which is the single back bunch X Nasty. So if you guys enjoyed today's video, make sure you guys give the video a thumbs up. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, or complaints, feel free to drop those below as well. Always want to hear what you guys are thinking about the content here on the channel. And if you guys want the rest of my X Nasty offense, head over to gridirongameplans.gg. $9.95 unlocks the entire website, Discord access, weekly lab sessions, all offensive and defensive game plans, and the vault that I update all the time. Other websites may make you pay for just game plans on their website. We've got stuff that's going to keep you on top of the meta on a higher cadence week in and week out. Go check it out. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Until then, this is Zan. Get the lab and good luck.